morning. Do I need to start over?
You can go from there.
Okay. So I'm going to read the script for the remotely conducted hybrid open meetings, which we are conducting this morning. Thank you for bearing with me. Public participation guidelines. We are using Zoom for this meeting, which allows for the public to participate in the meeting as an attendee. The chair can request that members of the public provide their names for purposes of keeping accurate minutes of this meeting. Attendees must register to participate. The registration link is unique to the meeting. The registration link can be found in the description of the Nantucket Government TV YouTube live feed for the meeting. Attendees will join in listening mode. They can click and raise their hand if they wish to speak. The chair will call on those who have raised their hands in order that they were raised. All questions should be directed through the chair. Confirming member access. As a preliminary matter, this is Joanna Roach filling in for Chair Dorothy Hertz. We have Jericho Melly, and Ann's not here this morning. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Veronica.
Here.
Yes.
Sue Minton.
You mentioned it, yes. John.
John Balash here.
Anybody else? That's it, okay. And Joanna Roach. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative.
In attendance?
Great, thank you, Jericho. Anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. Should we have everyone go around?
Yeah, let's just
Okay.
probably introduce an agency or who you're representing and then name, I guess.
Okay,
So Amanda Wright Fairlands.
Jill Veith, just public citizen.
okay. Nicole,
Nicole Olson, Small Friends on Nantucket.
great. Pauline,
Pauline Proch from Our House, Nantucket.
thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And here she comes.
I'm not, I'll be back. I was dropping this off on remote meeting rules. Do you have it?
Yes, you're reading it from,
Okay, I was dropping it off again.
she's on.
I gotta get cream. It's in the car. I'll be back, okay?
We're so kind. Wow.
This-
Come to your meetings more often.
It's catering.
You get breakfast. Awesome.
Yes, all right, so this open meeting of the Contract Review Committee is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, we are convening via video conference, Zoom, as posted in the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note this meeting is being recorded and all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided by members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each member to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For a response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote in this meeting, will be conducted by a roll call vote. Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion so we've called meeting to order, we've established the quorum. Who would like to, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda. Two. Thank you.
Roll call vote. Veronica,
Aye.
Sue,
Hi.
John,
I,
Joanna, aye. Great, agenda is approved. Are we approving minutes this morning, Derek?
No,
Okay, so we will. Oh, this is the bicycle history. Our agenda. Okay,
Do you need? Here.
well, thank you.
There you go.
That's lovely. All right, so we will have discussion, we're gonna continue the discussion of the survey questions. We're going to discuss the RFI. We'll discuss third quarterly reports and then we will have other business. Okay. So do you want to pull up the questions? You brought the other.
I am unfortunately having trouble logging into my email address on this, so. Give me 1 second there.
I noticed we have an audit too.
Yeah, when did that happen?
Yeah.
I just saw that.
Yeah, that changed.
Yes, just from the other day.
Yeah.
Nice.
We have a new person coming in.
guys any coffee?
I'm glad I would. think so.
I think I'm gonna check when you're done. I'll get some.
You get a top up?
The mine is, no, mine is
Okay, so
stale at this point.
Jericho, can you let Karen in?
Yes.
Do you want either of these? Since I just printed these out on that.
Okay, so these are the questions.
And this is what,
Those are the notes.
oh, and it's only part of it, obviously.
So I think we have to work on the questions, but why don't we, can you pull up also maybe Jericho, the RFI? And maybe even the PowerPoint that I sent you? If not, I can send it to you again.
I can't get into my email right now on this machine.
Okay. You guys done.
How do I do this?
Go just look at Gmail.
Very system. I will. All right, so the questions. So just to bring any of you up, oh, Karen, do you want to identify yourself and just say what organization you're from? So it's recorded in the minutes.
Hi, I'm Karen Latimer from Health Imperatives. Good morning.
Good morning, thank you for coming. So for purposes of everyone, we've been working on questions that reflect two things. One, questions we want to survey the community with, and questions we want to survey the agencies with. And we generated a list of them at the last meeting, and we, I think, are in the process of reviewing that. Jericho, we don't have those, all the notes, sticky notes, do we?
I don't know what happened to.
Dorothy took mine.
Okay. Okay, so let's see, also Andrew Selly sent his, he can't come this morning, obviously, he's teaching. Which is his day job. All right, so so if I email you, then I can't share, but if I join the Zoom,
You could share, I can assign, that's probably the best way to do that.
okay. So sorry, Zoomers, bear with me, some tech difficulties, because I'm gonna have to even use my phone to get onto the internet.
You can't get into the town guest, can you? Understand why that's the case.
I think I have an idea, but it's not worth it for right now. So can you send me the Zoom link?
No, because I can't.
Oh, no. No.
You can do agenda, go to the agenda page.
Zoom link is too far.
But it also may have it in. Okay, you gotta let me in now.
Gotcha. Thanks for playing music. And then we are in Diana Roach. Made co-host.
Right, so I just turned my sound off.
Perfect.
And you're gonna allow me to share,
You are now co-host. You should have sharing privileges.
okay?
Should promote it to the main window.
I love it. It's pointing to the window because it's,
Yeah.
And it's also Zoom has identified this as audio and it's trying to get us to use the professional audio settings. So you guys will get the landscaping noise in high fidelity.
Like that picture.
Okay, so I made this little PowerPoint. So that we could be on the same page. No pun intended. All right, so here's what I did with the notes from the first meeting. So I guess for purposes of everybody here, we're trying to get feedback on any of this. So that day that we did the visioning workshop. So this is what I distilled down from everything and thought that, so this is going to be attached to the RFI.
great. Thank you.
Any comments?
No, it looks very good.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then hopefully this will turn into the handout that we pass out at the town meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't mention that it's focused on youth. Does it need to?
So maybe let's go back to here.
Yeah, so maybe we've been calling this the Youth Behavioral Health Grant,
Okay, so I will make that correction.
but we can do it. That's not a finalized one. If we want to do it like a
Okay.
final title at the end.
Okay,
You should also just identify, I mean, it's not only youth, it's.
Up to 25.
0-25. When I
Yeah,
hear
a
youth, I
sub-
think of-
Yeah,
A sub,
youth, I think of it
title.
teen.
Teen, yeah,
okay, I just need to get it.
birth through emerging adulthood,
yes.
Okay.
which
So
I
then-
think is the jargon I hear for
Yep.
up to 25.
What did you call it? The youth what?
we've been calling
Youth Behavioral Health
Grant.
Grant.
I like that name.
It's like any acronym that starts with Y for some reason.
But I think, yeah, like you have to, I mean, I just worry about the word youth.
I
Right.
think
But then maybe something
Like a sub-
0 to serving the 0 to 25 community, something like
Yeah.
that.
yeah, the subtitle there, I think is good. We do intend, like, I think. The. Possibility for it becoming a very long word, like. Maybe simplify the initial one and then we can add data with the second
Yeah.
line, maybe.
So then I put this timeline page. So, and Anne confirmed that we've met 7 times in the last 8 weeks. We've created a collaboration with the following groups and individuals, which are going to be listed on the next page. She gave me the names of everybody. I need to add it in here.
Mhm.
We consulted with a professional grant writer to develop the RFI and RFP. We created a survey for community members and human service organizations on Nantucket, which we can also, once it's finalized, include in the PowerPoint. We met with school superintendent and community school leadership. So there is going to be a meeting with Beth next Tuesday.
Okay,
Great.
good.
And then what about, when you say community school leadership, does that mean the private
Alicia,
schools?
Alicia's gonna come to the meeting with Beth,
Okay,
right?
Alicia from,
The community school.
okay, but what about the new school?
So Dorothy was handling the new school
and
and
Lighthouse?
Lighthouse. So once she confirms, I can add in a
Okay.
little
Yeah,
bullet.
I just worry that they're kind of forgotten.
No, this is a draft.
Yeah.
And then, so here's the collaborator, so it will all be listed like this. And then that's it, and then I'm gonna show you. So is there any feedback on that? So that is just a document that documents our work that we've done for the last 7 weeks, who's
Okay.
come, what we've worked on, what the process was, so that it's clear to everybody if we get asked. And I think it would be good to share that with maybe the finance committee in advance of this and also the select board. So that they know and understand that, we put some.
There's a lot of work in there.
Could I ask, the finance committee and select board met on Tuesday?
Mhm.
Was this discussed? Because I could not find the,
No, that ended up being, I didn't go to that meeting,
okay.
and Jill, did you go to that, the
What?
Tuesday meeting?
No.
It was just a discussion of the articles among.
Oh,
Oh, you mean the, yeah, meet the articles.
Meet the
or whatever.
articles.
I
Okay.
didn't, I did talk to Denise about it afterwards, but
Okay.
nothing really came up, and I don't know if she did speak about the grant or not, so.
I don't know if she is, but we have another meeting on Tuesday,
Okay,
and that's when I believe the technical amendments will come up.
okay.
Technical amendment, that was
All right, so now let me. find-
not special allocation, technical amendment.
So then, we did this. Just here.
You can watch it on Zoom though.
For some reason, I tried finding it yesterday afternoon and I was,
So then
Couldn't
here is
find
the
it.
draft of the RFI.
okay,
It's on.
okay.
Here's the draft of the RFI.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Sorry, have you guys applied for any federal money yet? Or,
no, but that is something that we've discussed.
because you know what, I was part of a grant writing help. We applied for $1 million, which we did not get, but it does occur to me, we need to go back and see if they're gonna opt that again, so.
Jericho has some names of some grants that we could apply for, and also Valerie, who came in and consulted with us, she had some grants that we could apply for.
In fact, I got.
I
referred
think
to-
our initial attention and intention is the first year, we're hoping to be granted.
Yeah.
Money from the town, and moving forward, we know we have to tap into. So we're developing this, looking forward also.
Yeah.
Now, pardon my newness, but have we discussed? Has it been discussed like joining forces with the behavioral health initiative once they're kind of better launched? Because that's what they're gonna
Jericho
do.
can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, anything that comes out of this will be, you know, incorporated in with what they're doing. I'm, once this is in a more finalized form, I can then figure out which are the optimal ways we can partner with them. And then there's been discussion about using an umbrella organization to manage the grants, which would also might possibly work in together with the partnerships
Right.
developed there.
I just, yeah, I don't
Is
wanna
that like
be,
community foundation or something?
It's a Alliance Community Foundation, Hospital, Fairwinds,
Yeah.
ASOP NAMI, a couple other
Yeah, that's
organizations.
who all was part of the grant.
And then,
I'm trying to avoid redundancy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
so the
confusing.
dollars can all go
Mhm.
to programming.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately that makes sense because that's. Yeah,
I
that's a
also,
lead group and then this comes under along with everybody else.
that, I also, Meredith Lepre from, the school actually referred to me, last night, sent me a, federal grant for $1 million plus a year, repeating for 3 years for, a variety of substance abuse programming. I've had a chance to look through the,
Is that through Samson or
I think
something?
it was the Samsung one.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you guys were applying for?
We did one through HRSA. It was a special one. Through HRSA. And I don't know if they're still offering it, but I could try to find out.
I mean, I think this one, I do want to take a peek at it when I have more time to actually dig deep into it, but it does appear to be a federal grant about very similar subject matter to ours, so
Yeah.
it might be
Yeah.
something we should look into after.
Well, and this is just an aside, but just, I think we really need to get like Senator Markey's involvement in that. Like, he helped us on that. But we probably need to get him involved earlier on. He's in town this weekend, actually. I just heard that. So I think I could maybe get on his radar screen and just say, hey, we
Yeah,
pay
and-
attention here.
And on our end, I mean, Senator Sears sits on the
Yeah, I was
mental
gonna
health.
say, I'm gonna-
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're great, right? They're all over that, so.
Yeah.
But for the federal money, the big money.
Mhm.
And then I was saying to Joanna, there's also the marijuana tax grant.
Right,
The substance
Apply for it,
abuse.
the substance abuse one.
The substance abuse disorder grant.
And that's with the state.
No, that's an actual.
Check out.
And then-
Oh,
Yeah.
just,
Our money, which will have extra money last year because $45,000 got returned. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
so it'll be over 200 then, yeah.
That's, it should.
Should be, should be.
That's a collection of recreational sales on Nantucket. The
Yeah.
tax from that goes to a special bin that we
but I
allocate.
thought you're already giving them, you're already getting that money, aren't you?
But we'll look for
No, I'm talking about next year.
25.
Oh, you can buy into a bigger amount or something?
Well,
this year?
It's kind of a complicated story, but Gosnell
Okay.
grant last year kind of failed, and so they returned. We were able to return some money to the fund,
I see, gotcha.
which is gonna make it larger. And which hopefully that, some of that money can be directed at this initiative
Gotcha.
in terms of future funding.
Yeah.
So this is just, so we're trying to make it so that the 175 is a one-time ask.
Right, because you think you'll have your fund.
And then we can move on from there.
Yeah. I think it's in a really good signal to have a fund established that you have that, so you, that when you do go for other grants, they know you have that system in place. I think that was our problem when we applied, it was a bit of a mishmash, like it didn't. There wasn't really a place to administer it, and that is a huge component of the grants, like who is administering it, who can do it.
Especially the Fed.
Yeah.
funds.
Yeah,
Having been the person to do that for an organization,
it's hard.
it's not a. Somebody do it when they're bored, kind of thing.
It's a big job.
It's a pain.
Yeah, that's why we had the hospital involved and they were really helpful.
Okay, so this is the cover page of the RFI. So I think we need to, so the sort of thought process is that this is the cover letter. Then they would have that PowerPoint, which I'll turn into a PDF. And then they would have the attachment of the agency questions and the community questions. So that whoever is submitting, you know, something for the RFI would have the entire understanding and package. So I think that today our goal would be to finalize all these pieces so that it can be put together and go out next week.
There's the goal to get the survey done next week before.
I think the survey can go out. We're not gonna get the responses back, but if we could get the surveys
Okay.
out and the RFI out, I think we're good.
So one quick edit is that in number one, it should be agency or organization.
I think,
Organization.
we happen to have a few people who would be applying for something like this now, so feedback on what the, like those bullet point questions are, or how we can sort of scope it so that there is a easier path to delivering, like to producing an RFP down the road. It's a turnaround time on this for us to get it. The RFIs out, the RFPs done, and then the evaluation process for getting programming out in the fall is going to be relatively abbreviated. So we want to have kind of a nice, easy on ramp to get.
So
Good
do you,
proposals.
do you think May 15th is too soon
Um,
to get response back from the RFI?
for RFIs, so it's gonna, I mean, that, we have a couple of agencies here, I could speculate, but like, you know, Amanda, would you be comfortable giving like a 7-point bullet point response to an RFI to this before May 15th, if you hadn't been in the room with us?
Thanks, I mean, obviously I had to involve Jason and,
Oh, yeah, of course.
yeah. I think yeah.
Karen, if you look at this RFI and you hadn't been sitting in our meetings here, would you have an idea of what to write for it?
Yes, we could do this. Mhm.
How, I guess for number two, the question is like, how specific of a proposal would it be? Just because normally when you would propose a, you know, for the RFP, it would be detailed, it would have a budget, it would have all of that. So I guess how much are we expecting for number two in 2 weeks? Just like like a paragraph saying, here's what we envision, but without a lot of.
Just call it an
Detail.
overview.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Because I'd rather get less than bad.
From the
Right,
first one.
right.
Than, yeah, not accurate. Not bad, but not accurate.
I would ask for number 4 for time frame, as a person that has not been sitting in these meetings and is somebody looking in from the outside for time frame, what are you asking for an organization or an agency for that?
Okay, so our goal is to start in September.
So it'd be time frame for deploying services?
So it'll
Launching
be
program.
September through June 30th.
Could you get, when is the
Earliest you could start.
start this proposed program? And then potentially, how long will it run?
I think that's helpful for somebody that needs to fill out some information. Thank you.
That's a great
Okay.
question. Great comment.
Yeah. And then support required would be, are we looking at in like organizational support, like infrastructure, those sorts of things.
I think so.
Or it could be materials in different languages or a survey in different formats. Maybe it's electronic or paper.
What, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm looking at potential collaboration with that support required. Would that really mean, support from other organizations, that collaboration?
Yeah, no, I think that's probably I think it would be, my assumption here is that it's what. Who will you be working with if you're at a different location, if there's, I hate using this word, but synergies you can develop
Well,
by,
potential collaborators is the next one.
Yeah,
So I really saw support required as like, do you need additional staffing? Do you need supplies?
okay.
Right, like a bit, like more tactile
are we
things.
thinking that, like, for example, there's interpreters there, but like translate like.
Translators is different.
Services, like, if the agency applying would need a contract with an outside entity to do some particular thing, like that sort of thing wouldn't be, okay.
Or yeah, funding,
facility?
right, or funding to help with translation.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive and. I think staffing is what's gonna be needed for some organization.
Yeah.
And that is a huge challenge.
Would facilities be in that if, you have
Rental.
a great, a
rent for
rental,
locations.
or, you need to use,
up
say,
your-
town tennis courts or whatever. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Say tennis courts to me again.
Okay.
Pauline, when you look at this, is there anything that jumps out on you, or at you rather?
Well, I'm just sort of trying to sort of look to see if this, in the application, you probably would want to put some kind of bare bones budget together. But I'm a little confused here as to the support required. If I were applying here, I'm seeing that you're asking me what the programs are and who I'm serving and the time frame, but I'm a little confused on the support required, I guess. So are you looking to have, and I heard what you said, Joanne, about having less, to get this going, to get it happening, but I think I'd probably get a little tricked on number 5, if you could pull that out a little bit more.
Because the other questions are more 30,000 feet, that's down into more
Granular.
nitty gritty,
So what if we
granular.
say,
Right.
who's support required? Because I think we want people to identify,
Gaps in their current,
yes,
would it
Uh,
be?
like,
Yeah.
but people are gonna need translation services.
So maybe we don't say,
Additional
maybe
support.
we say like what,
Linguistic or cultural what's the cultural competency component? Well, that maybe is over, but maybe is it infrastructure investment?
But it's true, like, say Pauline wants to have a book club and she wants to have it at the Athenaeum and she wants an interpreter there. She might have to pay the Athenaeum, she has to pay the interpreter, she has to buy the books, right? Like, it's that kind, does that help?
but why do we
Pauline?
need to know that?
Well,
Like, what are we gonna do with that information?
That factors into the overall.
right,
Like,
well,
that'll be in their
that's why-
budget later.
it-
Right.
Our budget later, but would we not want to put, so say somebody, so if we put on our evaluator hat, right, wouldn't we have a pile of, because this is gonna come up, I'm sure, a pile of grant requests that don't require support and some that do, right? Because then it's gonna be the amount of dollars that go directly to
Yeah.
people served versus a percentage of either extra
Right.
staffing or materials.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's totally gonna be something we're gonna look at.
Well, and also maybe like you have. For facility rentals, maybe you can get that
For
for
free.
income, yeah, but maybe that's easier for one
And it's
organization
also-
to do that than another.
And it's
to,
also a
just
potential collab, right? So it's if the Boys and Girls Club are applying, maybe the Boys and Girls Club apply with this, with another organization, like maybe they approach you.
Yeah.
And maybe
And
they
we do it
say, we
together.
want to do open gym and we want to have a behavioral therapist there.
Or support, we want to do groups.
Okay, so the RFI, what happens if? Like, it's not the RFP, so the
You're getting
RFI is
stuck
just.
where I got stuck,
with-
which is that I wasn't sure why we weren't going to go directly to the RFP. Except for that, I feel like this is such a new grant thing that we needed to have some explanation of what it was.
You do.
I think also,
But,
You see
but
what
are
I'm
we
saying?
saying yes or no
To this?
to the RFI?
No,
we're just,
Okay.
these aren't evaluations, these are a way for us to tailor the RFP better to the potential things that are coming in.
I
Okay.
started to look at it as like, this is us telling the organizations to brainstorm with each other.
And I
Right,
think,
How do we say?
collaboration, the collaboration, so,
The The other thing I think that would be really helpful for this is if we can kind of give a general scope in the RFI, because if someone has a program that requires an initial investment of like $250,000, it's probably not gonna be optimal for them to come to apply to us for this.
Well, in the PowerPoint thing, it says, it's, we have
$175,000,
$175,000, that's what we have.
I think you might, I mean, May 15th could be a little tight.
So-
I'm just thinking like, everyone's focused on May 6th and. You know, I just think May 15th is gonna be, like, I know there's a time crunch, but I think that's gonna be hard for people.
So do you think we should,
Especially if you want people to collaborate on the
Yeah.
RFI.
Yeah, because you have to like reach out to
what did we say,
somebody.
May 31st?
Yeah, that's what I was, yeah.
That does, yeah, that, I don't think there's a major time, I don't think that difference is gonna make or break the evaluation process, and I think it could get us much better proposals when they come in.
And I think it gets you better collaboration because people can meet and say, like, I could see us talking in addiction to pollution, which you like, about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hi, everybody, I apologize.
that's okay.
Can you put in that I've just arrived?
Yes, note, Dorothy.
You were
has
with us,
arrived,
Dorothy.
And I yield the chair, I yield the chair.
Right,
it
seems like you were doing great.
You was.
So if this is pushed to the end of May, the RFPs won't go out until after that, and we're talking about potential September. Is there enough time that if we're taking time here, is that gonna crunch down the other portion? Because the other portion takes longer.
Yes, so I think that's
This
a
is-
super good point,
Yeah,
Joe.
So the things that people apply for, is it necessarily something they're doing every day, or is it, could it just be an event? Like you partner with the Boys and Girls Club and you're gonna have this day of mental health and a pickle tournament or tennis
Yeah,
court tournament, you know what I
could be
mean? Is that
anything.
kind of,
anything.
it could be.
Yeah, I
anything.
think it'd be
Right.
new things
How
that
it's gonna
could be
actually
embellishing
work when somebody
upon,
gets it.
like, we have a peer
making
recovery
sure
coach
that-
program, and I'd love to be able to have. You know, kids that get suspended from school for marijuana to meet a peer recovery coach and kind of hear a different perspective.
Right,
I mean, that's just an idea.
but that wouldn't be like every day, it would
That would be
be,
like every day, yeah,
right, gotcha.
or like do some, you know, support groups, like for teens.
Yeah, so maybe the timeline's okay, because you're,
I think the timeline's okay, and what I see from this is that really we're seeding collaborations with this money. Is what we're doing, and we're encouraging like a community brainstorm, and we're seeding collaborations that wouldn't have otherwise happened. And if we say, I do think
totally,
we're gonna need some more explanation of this date. In terms of, so if you are submitting this by the 31st of May, then we'll have to review them within 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And then the RFP would have to actually go out by the end of June. And then it would be due by the end of July, and we would,
2 weeks. All you need is 2 weeks.
That's all
they have to do.
so then 2 weeks. So July 15th, we would decide by August 1st. So I think the thing that's not clear in here is that you would have to be ready to go with the programming. You'll get a decision in August. We need to outline the exact thing. I need to do that. Yeah, I need to do that on the paper.
Here.
Can I ask
Oh,
how the
yeah.
RFI will be distributed?
So I think what we have to advertise the RFI in the Inky for. We have to advertise the RFI for Inky for 2 weeks, I believe, because it's a
And.
2 weeks in a row, two
two
issues in a
consecutive,
row.
two consecutive issues, and then. Then we will just be sharing it word of mouth. We'll probably pass it on to CFN, to whoever, everybody who distributes these. And then we're sort of relying on word of mouth. I think 2 weeks to write a brand new RFP is a big ask. And I think it might help us get better end products if we run it for 3 weeks, like. Because this is a totally new grant that we don't have an established RFP for, so it's gonna be very complicated to apply for initially. Especially since unlike the CRCs, there's no precedent or established pattern of usage, so. Then we also have to figure out on the finance side, the contracts as well, so that might be time consuming.
Can I ask on the RFP? Wouldn't it just be the initial wording of the RFP that's gonna change, not the legal contract involved in it? Because most of it is all gonna be running under the same let me think, procurement,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So all it's really changing is the wording of what we're requesting. So I really believe that if we just are changing the initial wording at the beginning, we can keep most of the rest of the RFP in place as to meet up with all the other ones that we have already.
I think most of it will be the same, but there's a variety of different potential programs. Like there was just someone that mentioned if they want to do a one-time event, and under the current CRC things, being expense only in 1/4 is something that we sort of at least frown upon.
But weren't we gonna find one person to carry this?
We would need to do that before we write the RFP and the contracts.
Yeah, but we're in the process of doing that.
Yeah, so my question is, wasn't it that we were gonna have one person oversee it? So if the funds go to that one organization that's overseeing the funds, then as they apply for it, it would just go to that person that they're applying to get the funds, correct?
I thought that we were gonna disperse the funds. And that the overarching thing would be the people who manage them and report on them. Right, and coordinate the different things under one umbrella. I still think that we're gonna make the grants.
May I-
So it wasn't a grant. I thought that we were gonna find one organization to basically hold the funding
And manage.
and manage the funding itself. So it all went to one,
We would
the
avoid-
5013C, and that they would delegate the money out. And that was part of the reason
Like
that we,
community foundation person.
well, not, we wouldn't use the community foundation. You
others.
pay money to the community foundations. They're off of
I
they're off
gotcha.
the charts.
Same with community school though. They would be. they
Okay,
would
but we
charge-
can find one, but the whole premise is that that there would be one body
umbrella.
holding it. And then you would be applying to that one body for the funding, so that it wasn't a constant, like 5 or 6 different ones. It was sort of somebody, one entity getting it and it going out.
So we're gonna collect all the stuff and then hand it off to one person.
So we're not deciding who gets the funds.
Yeah, that's the part where I'm. confused by.
We decide who gets the one bucket and then they decide.
That
Or
doesn't
you-
that
seem-
makes-
Or do you bring that organization, whatever it is, in to help decide who the funds go to?
Right, they can be part of the process. I mean, like,
But
I think that we
That
have
has
to,
to be different from the CRC process that we've
Right.
done, and we said we were gonna try to follow as close as we can. And there
Right,
needs
but-
to be MOUs between the various organizations that are participating in that in cases of any kind of ambiguity in distribution.
And I guess the part where, the only part where I am confused is I thought, I have a hybrid version of this, which is I thought we were gonna disperse the money. And that the unifier organization was going to make sure it all happened and write the reports.
okay, so in our discussions recently, one of the things that you even said is, oh, maybe we could hold it. So
We could.
it talking about your organization. So
Yeah.
as we had talked about it, we had put it out there that it would go to one entity
Right.
that would then be overseeing it, so that we actually had somebody that was accountable to us other than just us. In the whole process, that there was gonna be one person, one organization that the money would be going to, that would actually be sort of watching where it's going and being the lead. Because they would then be answering to us, and there's accountability when you have
Right.
one person that can say, one organization that come in and say, this is what we've done, this is where the funding's gone. This organization's done this and this and this. That's basically how I saw it.
And what would happen if the organization needed some support towards managing it?
Well, that was some of it, what we discussed. We discussed whether there would be somebody that would be doing
Well,
that.
that-
But
I
funding.
mean, just I'm talking about
for-
funding. just
Yes,
because
that we had
everyone is
talked about
so,
that.
Like strapped. That is, would there be some funding to be able to provide to that organization to take on that lead? And then my other question is, why not the community foundation? They wouldn't be willing to like waive whatever fee?
Because I'm gonna tell you as part of what I understand the town, we are not gonna do that, because we're gonna keep it within the town.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm just curious.
I don't,
Well, you and I have discussed this and I've discussed it with everybody else. We can discuss it separately away from here again. But it's the community foundation is not where the town's gonna be putting its money right now.
So I just don't understand why, since the CRC already has a process that people are accountable to, why we would. I feel like you're just adding a layer of complexity to give it all to another organization that isn't already set up with contracts and rules and. Yeah, so I'm not. in
No,
charge.
sorry.
The
public, I'm sorry.
But
No,
I
but
know,
no,
I'm just-
I think, but I kind of see what Dorothy says, and I'm not saying we should do it that way. I just want to go back to my own experience having applying for a federal grant. The problem was who administered it, and so that we were at a disadvantage that we didn't have. And so if you set up something, some organization to do it, then you're really giving the more sophisticated groups an advantage, right? Because if you're a small group and let's say you just want to come and apply for money, you don't have the back office to run it. And so that's why I would be worried that you might miss out on somebody small who's like, oh, I don't know if I want to go and but you know what I'm like, I could be a small group and come and apply for something, and I would probably like to come to the CRC, but I don't know that I would want to go to the hospital if I'm like, you know what, I want to have a bike weekend on the island and.
Right.
Or to a competitor, like if you give the money to Fairwinds and ASAP, or, you know, like it just, that feels weird to go to your colleagues and ask.
But it
for
was
funds.
originally supposed to be like this major collaboration where they all came in underneath, not like we had separate little things going on, but a collaboration where there was an all-out community effort
Right.
to go across the board where they were working within, like, instead of, so what we always do is we have a little bit amount of money that has always seemed to be fought over and who's gonna get it and who, you know, and it's a big struggle. So this was more like, okay, the money's there for the community at large. We're working together. We're working as one unit
Right.
versus working, you know, having a lot of little things going on. So sometimes if there's somebody you're answering to other than a board that's just giving you money,
Right.
but there's somebody that's responsible for it, then what's happening is you're answering in a collaborative way, you know, keeping it, because one of the hopes would be that these organizations that would come in would actually meet on a monthly basis to keep forward of, this is what we've done, this is what we've accomplished, because the number one thing we've been asked is, I need output. What is the output? What is the
Yeah, you
outcome
need
of
the
what
data.
you did? And the only way we're gonna be able to do that is to keep a group within a meeting to say, okay, we've done this, and somebody that can answer and say, this is what's happened. This is what we've been able to do. This organization has worked with this organization to make this work. You know, and that, I think that was our whole idea, was in order to actually go for further funding in some of these big grants that are out there, you really have to have something like that in place. You can't have that the town did this and we had this or this going, but there
Right.
wasn't necessarily a collaborative effort where they were coming together, meeting and saying, oh, strategically, hey, I found this. Can I pull this underneath this? You know, oh, I saw this grant available through that. We can do it. You know, like that's what we want to do. We want to have the players at the table together, working together and having somebody we have to answer to, because otherwise we're just basically doing what we already do.
Right.
And we don't have great collaboration between the human services. They're working on it, but it's not like.
But that's because
it's
they don't have a
real-
good back office, I don't think, to
Yeah.
help them do that.
Well, I think that a lot of them
Some
have.
I mean, I'm asking, I'm not.
I think, no, but I think you're right. I think part of it is the back office, the staffing. I think part of it is like people are very invested in their own agency.
That's,
So at the end of the day, we're all doing similar work and we have to come together. And I
Right.
think what's unfortunate, I mean, the timing just with this whole, the Nantucket behavioral health, like the bigger thing, like, you know, if that was like already, then technically that group could take it over because the whole focus is to have everyone together. But that's not happened yet. So we kind of have to like start here and then work under that eventually.
This to me feels like collaboration should be a requirement for the RFP. Like you don't get a program if it's just one agency doing it. But
Yeah, I
I
mean,
feel like
that's-
$175,000, it would take that plus more
start.
to organize the group of people. Like, I just feel like
But I mean,
that's a lot to ask in a short amount of time to
But I mean, it's
coordinate.
important, like I think about when we did the application for the Community Behavioral Health Center, I had to have MOUs with like, hospital, the
Yeah.
addiction solutions, like health imperatives. And I did that really quickly. I was reaching out and saying, this is what we're applying for. Can we rely on you to help us with this?
Okay.
And that was the key because like we know that we couldn't do it alone. And like we needed to have partners to help us with things that Fairwinds can't offer. And so it kind of reminds me of this, like, you almost need to say, like, I want you to partner with somebody.
I'm
And-
writing that in here.
I'm
right?
sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want you to partner with another organization and come to us together and say, this is how you're gonna work together. And so it's kind of gonna create new relationships, like we could go do something with the Boys and Girls Club, like we could do something with the
That'd be
school and like have a little mini MOU, like we're gonna do this together for the community.
But any organization is going to need the financial support to have someone do that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's,
So can we peel off from the grant, and that may not be the right term, $30,000 or $20,000 for an individual's time that's gonna go to.
I
an
don't think
agency?
so. Because it's not guaranteed to happen again the following year. So I don't want to commit to
We can't
funding an
establish.
individual.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think that that's
Right.
not realistic.
Yeah.
What was Brian's term for that? We can't establish an expectation for an employment over a multi-year period or something like
Right.
that.
Well, he
Right.
wants to make sure that he doesn't, what happens is that we don't, what happens is they start a lot of organizations, especially in the school. Come to him for a 1-year thing and they end up employing the person the following year because it actually wasn't looked at for long term. Where was the long term on this?
Right.
but I think the key is, is the staffing piece, like, and I hate to say that, but it's like everyone's pulled in through multiple jobs.
Right.
And it's not.
Just a
like,
clear-
out of the kindness of their heart, just for the community. But it just, but I think, I think as we're like saying, you need to partner with somebody.
Right.
It worked for
Thanks,
CBC,
Jericho.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jericho.
I mean, it worked for
Okay.
us, we couldn't have done our application without having all these little MOUs. And it was great and it happened quick and it was just.
Yeah.
A way to all work together. And now we're working together more with people in the hospital.
Right.
So-
Yeah, that's what I like about it too. It gives you a chance to kind of strengthen your relationships
Yeah.
with those groups it takes time. Like there's staff turnover and then they all get to know each other. I know for the grant we did, we had to have the hospital do it. They were the only ones that could administer. $1 million was a lot of money.
There's the HRSA one.
Yeah,
Wasn't Fairwinds kind of part of that too?
you were,
Yeah.
but like the
That's
hospital,
huge.
it was huge and it was good and I loved seeing everybody work together.
Mhm.
But it did occur to me the whole time, like, is the federal government gonna give Mass General $1 million? Like, it was kind of like, oh,
Not really.
I wouldn't have, if it
Yeah.
had been up to me, it hurts, they make a lot of money, so
Yeah.
that
So
was
we're
frustrating
actually- we're
on that
conflating
level.
Two different things right now, though.
Yeah.
We're conflating the ability
The
for this
structure.
group to go out and ask for grants ongoing. And what's gonna happen with the administration of this $175,000.
Let's go back to the
I think we
administration
should
of
go
it
about
because
what we have.
Right, so right now we have a year, which we
Yeah.
need to admit, let's just go back to the basic,
Yeah.
right? We have 1 year to administer $175,000. I just wrote that into the RFI. Right, the issue, it's more, when we talked about having an overall administrator, in my mind, it was more that they were not gonna give out the money to the people, but they were gonna coordinate the people. So I saw them as, I'm gonna use the word calendaring organization, right? So once we gave away the money, say we give the money to like 6 different organizations who are partnered up with others, then the administrator would create a calendar of all those programs and require the grant reporting to come through them, because they're not gonna be able to hire another person to help. And we are gonna wanna disperse the money directly to the people who are applying for it, not to a third party. And I don't think that we can, because that organization is part of the school, I don't think we can just give them the money anyway.
so
We can ask them to have a role in the admin of it, which I think makes sense.
So do we?
how about, can you put it, can we put in here that part of this, would you be willing to be a part of a month or a bi-weekly meetings? in The RFI.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to establish the fact that they are accountable to somebody, everybody that's getting funding on how they're working within their
Right.
collaboration. And that collaboration has to show
And
the
that they're not-
ability to collaborate with at least 3 other town something.
And then if they're all throwing like maybe people are gonna run workshops or something, for an example, they don't all overlap.
Or the workshops
So
are
we-
available to every single person within the collaboration that we're trying to establish, because the only way we're gonna get anywhere is to get everybody on the same
So
page.
this is what I just wrote. So I just
Okay.
wrote in commitment to monthly meeting with the CRC for accountability.
For not, I wouldn't say accountability. We want to have them, how about a commitment, a monthly meeting?
For collaboration.
Reviewing outcomes, or,
Collaborational outcomes.
Yeah.
So
So
that
if
we're
there's-
making it very clear that this collaboration is the biggest part of this.
So if there is this third party that is not distributed, but collecting the materials or whatever, what are they getting out of it? Are they getting funds?
They
'Cause-
could.
They could, I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out. I mean,
Because
that's all-
no one's gonna volunteer to do all
Right.
that work and not
right.
get any money.
I mean, we're potentially this could be the community school. Right, because think about it, they are the broadest reach.
Yep.
And they have marketing materials and a way to get the word out.
Can I just ask a question as an organ? Kind of the process
Can
of,
you give your name?
oh, I'm sorry, Nicole Wilson from Small Friends.
Hi, Nicole, sorry, but right now we have a document up, so we can't see who it is that's actually
Oh,
talking.
no worries. I just, as an organization, I just kind of want to clarify or confirm the process for this. So the RFI goes out, you complete it within the timeline right now, it looks like as of May 31st. So this would essentially establish your interest in waiting for the RFP to come out. The RFP comes out, you review it, you apply, and essentially, for example, as Small Friends, I would be applying for funding for services for my organization. And I would partner based on the RFI with another agency to be able to offer whatever that service is. Maybe it's a parent workshop or something like that.
As long as your thing, what we want it to be is not only like whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna take the lead as Small Friends with the 0 to 5-year-olds and say, we have this program that we're wanting to do, or this training for parents, or we're gonna do a workshop and it's gonna be available so that
Well,
it's-
let's make this real time for her, right? So who else I'm
She's-
sorry, I'm forgetting.
she's
her
got the
name.
new school, she's
Well,
got
she's-
Rising Tides, she's got Lighthouse School. She's talking about 0 to 5-year-olds.
Yes,
So
so,
she's Small Friends.
right, so, and health imperatives is also on this call.
Yeah,
So like, for example, if you gathered the other organizations who do 0 to 5, and then you partnered with Health Imperatives and you offered a workshop for parents through them, that would be a collaboration of 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 or 4 0 to 5 educators, along with Health Imperatives, who's really good at reaching a certain demographic,
correct.
and you guys would partner to offer this program.
And offer what's, and also let them know what is available.
Right.
Right, and I think that's helpful. And so when I go back and I look at the RFI, I think it's important to note the partnership of agencies, because I'm gonna need to do that legwork before I apply for the RFP.
Yeah.
I think that is helpful, because I'm not gonna know how much money I'm gonna need until I talk to these organizations, and that needs to happen first. So I think that timeline in the RFI matches perfectly what will then subsequently go to the RFP, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think under number 6, if you see this, that Joanna just made sure that it says potential collaboration, partner and brainstorming with each other, minimum of 2 agencies working together to apply for a grant.
Yeah, I think that's helpful. And
Yeah.
like I said, you need to do that before you can do the RFP. So to get the RFI that specifically states that is helpful, because you're going to need to partner with them and have those conversations to know, A, are they in support? Are they on board? And how much is this going to cost to do a workshop for 50 people or whatever that looks like?
Yeah, thank you, Nicole, because at least in my mind, using a potential real situation, just put everything pulled together. So thank you for jumping in on that.
And the health imperatives, I'm glad that you're up there and see that we constantly talk about you.
Health imperatives are a neighbor, we can do something.
The health imperatives are
When we
amazing.
share space, yeah.
They're an
Thank
amazing.
you, thank you.
No, thank you. You kidding?
That's honestly to put the agency contact numbers, email, so people know who to reach out to, like who's part of this and what's the easiest way.
So for us to send out with the RFI, all the nonprofits we know with their contact information.
Well, we can put that into the PowerPoint, right? So we
Right,
went
this is
through
the
the
list,
PowerPoint, so
yes.
we were trying to say that there's gonna be a packet. That's
Mhm.
gonna go out with the RFI, that's the PowerPoint, the
Mhm.
list of all the organizations, the questionnaires for the community one and the agency one, so that they have a whole packet that they're responding to.
Yes,
Yep.
And
No, that's
hopefully
good.
more nonprofits would be
right.
than just the ones that were able to jump in on the meetings.
Right.
Right, we're hoping.
But I
I
think-
actually spoke with the new school, one of the board members last night, and as long as we get this to them, they're gonna sit down with the board and let it. Get somebody that's gonna be willing to be a part of it.
Okay, great. Okay, let's go back to this, because we're rapidly.
Yeah.
Gonna lose. Right here. Is there anything else? So now we've got agency or organization background and history, programs, program offerings, programs proposed. Audience served. Timeframe for implementation must take place during this time frame.
Oh, can I add something else?
Yes,
One of the things that came up last night in a conversation, when we were talking 18 to 25-year-olds. But then the whole thing is, why isn't the Park and Rec Commission working with us on this? That we should get them involved,
Yeah.
Right.
because
Charlie's
they
great,
oversee all the outdoor fields
I
and
talk to him
whatever.
almost every day right now. He's great.
Yeah.
And he knows, you know, he can tell you what's going on and all the.
Right, but what
Right.
potentially could be out there that could be developed, but they would be
Yeah.
a key resource that we should be working with. as
Yeah,
Park
and there's
Rec.
a lot going on. A lot of changes in that, you know, the fields. He can speak to that better than I can, but we have an article at town meeting for another field and they're gonna put lights up. Part of that, so really hope everybody votes for that,
Yeah.
at the fields to have lights so that kids can stay later when it's
Mhm.
dark in the winter, and I think it's gonna be really good.
It was,
Yeah.
it was interesting because somebody brought up last night in conversation is how big pickleball is right now.
Mm.
It's huge.
yeah.
Well, I was just
Craze.
thinking, yeah, the people, yeah.
And there's not enough courts, and they're
Right,
like,
you
if the
can't get
town could
many.
take on something like that for the 0 to 25,
I mean,
and
well,
even the parents.
They
it would
also
be-
need to offer more lessons at times that people can do them at.
Well, I'm glad you're telling me this, because I'm on the pickle committee at the
because
NRSA.
I wanna
We're having our
learn
first
that.
meeting Sunday to
I
plan.
wanna learn, and I bet it's just hard when you work.
We're gonna talk about that on Sunday.
So anyway,
and I
that was
think we'll
off
have
the
a plan.
subject, but
We'll
Park and Rec
drop
should
in
be a
and
part of
stuff,
it.
and you'll be able to come do
Maybe
that.
early in the morning.
But
or-
I was thinking it'd be really fun if they
Yeah,
had a
invite them.
pickleball tournament
Sure,
for all
and
the
it can-
kids.
After 0 to
I would
25,
agree.
just split
I think they
years,
love that.
you know, so 0 to 25
'Cause they can just show up and
years
play.
over there,
They
because
don't have to
when
learn
I
it.
read that
Years
over
old.
again, I'm thinking audiences,
Should we
0
say
to
years
25
old?
people or
What?
whatever, years old, yeah, something like
But
that.
they're building 4 more courts there. There's a lot,
Right.
they're building more tennis courts there. I know Charlie has plans to turn jetties into pickle courts. I mean, I think he hopes to do that. In addition to the tennis courts,
Yeah.
But are they gonna do it down there? I thought the town said no because of flooding.
Well, they're not getting rid of them yet, so I think they want to keep using those courts until. they
Till it
come-
happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he still has to manage them and keep them available. But I don't think that's
think-
really till next year.
Because my sense is there's more adults that are playing that than kids, and I think that'd be a great sport for kids.
I agree, and I
No, there are
said,
kids playing it in school. They're being taught at age 13 in the
Yeah.
elementary and the
Well, I
high
like
school,
that.
so it would be.
They
Part of my
do.
high school PE program.
yeah, they
Okay,
do
well,
learn.
Years ago,
Yeah.
years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so
They
this is,
do
we
work
would
around.
great.
But
pull
just so
around.
you know, there are private schools, but 2 private schools, it's part of the sanctioned league that they're in Massachusetts. So I actually really hope that the school, I keep pushing them to start a pickleball league and just, if you do it, maybe Barnstable will do it, and then you guys can play each other. And,
Yeah,
you know, it it captures a lot more people.
Helpful.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you play? I feel like I've seen you there.
No, I haven't, but I
Okay.
want to, I want to.
You just call me. I'm giving you my number. Call me.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, thank you, thank
I'd
you.
love to. We're
Yeah.
adding 4 more courts.
I
It's
would love
it's
to.
527 people at
Yeah.
the club.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah, and everyone loves it, and it's a great way to meet people, and.
I met so many new people through that.
Okay, so let's see this. Any,
Less skilled than tennis.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
I played it and have it.
This is Nicole from Small Friends again. I just have a question and I'm not sure if it would be appropriate for the RFI, but would it be helpful or appropriate to give some examples of what you could be requesting funding for. A workshop, counseling, whatever, and it doesn't have to list them all, but for example, I don't know if that's something that could be added maybe into the top paragraph. For me, I've been sitting in these meetings, so my wheels are turning and I'm thinking of what potentially could be helpful for small friends, but it's somebody that's just gonna read the RFI that hasn't been sitting in these meetings might be like, well, I don't know, what could I do? What could I apply for?
Okay,
Can we put that in instead of?
Appropriate or helpful?
Make that a page,
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I think Nicole, I think maybe we just make that a separate page of some of the items that we're looking at, that
Sure.
potentially done.
Sure, yeah, I think that might be helpful. Again, for me, sitting in these meetings, I'm kind of got a different understanding that somebody that may just be receiving the RFI with no background information might need just a little more. And then their wheels start turning, right? Oh, a workshop. Oh.
Right.
I could ask for counseling services. I could have a mentor come in. I think then start to think what can be applied for their specific organization or agency.
Were the
Yeah, no,
boys-
great point, and we'll make sure we put a PowerPoint in there with this.
Was the Boys and Girls Club,
They've been invited.
they've been invited, okay, cause like because of their facilities, they are a great
Huge.
partner.
They're also doing amazing work. right?
They do
They're
amazing,
doing
amazing
amazing
work,
work.
which it would be great to, like, there's a huge cost savings in terms of a limited budget, like, to work with them on some of their programs and added.
what we should really do is that when this RFI goes out, like sometime in the middle of May, we should have a workshop. And invite everybody on the list.
For the workshop, sounds
to the
great,
workshop.
sounds great.
Yeah, it's kind of meet and greet and collaborate and.
Get an
Mhm.
idea of what
Yeah.
we're after too.
That needs to not be in this room. Right?
No, we have to do it somewhere nice.
Yeah.
Give me a date.
Well, what do you guys think? Till middle of May? Let's just look at that.
Like before the RFIs are due.
And I'm just wondering if like fairgrounds would give us space.
I'm gonna ask IK.
Or go meet at the Boys and Girls
Oh
Club.
yeah, do you have an eye cave? Oh yeah, the space upstairs. It's really nice, yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Do we also want to have access to Zoom for that? So if people can't physically be there
No.
to come?
No,
We
we just
want
want
it to be
them to, we want them to
on
come.
them
We want to see their
face-to-face.
faces.
Yeah, and I think we also
People
don't,
that people come.
and we also don't want them to be, like, it can't be an official. Right, because we'd have to post the meeting. Like
We
this.
can post the meeting. It's fine that we post the meeting as us. We should, because
Okay.
we're gonna be more than 3 of us in a room. We have
Okay.
to.
Okay, great. So so it should be during the week, not on a weekend.
It should be during the week so that I can talk in to get the availability.
It's Tuesday night. 12th night.
So then May 9th, May 15th, May
Oh.
23rd, because I'll put this in the PowerPoint.
Well, I'll give you the PowerPoint.
May 9th
Can
is
you-
too soon.
Can you give me until I guess to, I'll get in touch with you today.
You wanna try to do it that week, because if it's due May 31st.
But like the 16th, yeah, could be
Then-
good.
I'm just gonna, let me find out what their availability is and
okay.
we'll make sure that we get it done before then.
Perfect.
And yes, Amanda, I'll see if we can throw something in there that will entice people to show up.
Yes. Good. Okay,
Okay?
what
Yeah,
else?
just don't do it on the 18th, because sorry, the school's doing a vaping movie.
On the 18th?
ASAP, yeah. just,
Okay, great.
Are they gonna show it during school?
Well, from what I understand, because I just got the email yesterday, they're looking for agencies to have like a table, just to kind of educate what they do, but then they're showing this video at night into the public, but then they're doing something during the day with the kids.
We should try to
Good.
go to that.
That's terrific.
Well, if we do decide to go to it, we
Alicia
have to
Gordon.
post it.
Oh, God.
You have to be careful. I mean, just if we do
Alicia
decide to go,
Gordon.
it has to be posted.
Police.
Police,
Morgan.
yeah, there is.
But doesn't have to be posted if people just are there. If we have a table or something like that, it has to be posted.
No,
But
it has to
even
be
if-
posted.
even
We're
if-
all in the
In
same
the
place.
same room, okay.
And you know what? It doesn't hurt. If
Right.
we just post that we could be there during the
Mhm.
time frame, then if 3 of us end up at the same place,
Mhm,
it's
It's okay.
Because it'd be interesting also, you could to provide some education about what we're doing and get ideas
We
from
should
people.
actually have a table.
Oh,
Have
surveys
a
should be
table,
there.
like, the surveys. should be
Oh,
there.
the surveys could be
Yeah,
there.
And then you're sitting there or.
Oh, but we can't do the surveys unless, is this for kids? The surveys
I
have
don't
to
know,
be
I think
approved by
it's-
parents.
No, this is like, I think more for the community and adults.
Is it a nighttime thing?
Yeah, it's a nighttime thing.
Okay.
That'd be
I
great.
think it
if they
starts
did
at
that.
7, so I mean, we could have a table and then provide some education, ask people like, give me an idea of like, what would you wanna see?
Mhm.
Okay, so maybe the survey goes out is ready for that date.
Yeah.
And
That's
then,
a great idea.
right, and then a suggestion box.
Cause
That's
the
Which one
survey
is-
can be
which one
digital
is-
and paper.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
We'll ask
yeah.
Lisa, I don't know why she isn't told.
Well, the other
I just
thing,
got it
the
yesterday.
other thing is that the survey, we were gonna ask the current or Daybreak to partner with us on,
Mhm.
so we have to do that part too.
I would do current. Thanks.
Hmm.
I like
Anybody.
both of them, but I just, or, I mean, if you can do both, but if not, I think the
Yeah.
current, everyone get the scoop.
Yeah, but the people that own Daybreak are really invested.
Yeah,
do.
they are,
They
they
are
can
kids-
participate.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's
good. Sorry,
participating.
Daybreak.
Yeah.
We'll do both,
Or do both.
Right.
we'll do both.
Can I ask you guys as a committee for a little favor, and you don't have to do it, but I throw it out there, just because I'm trying to help. Marshall, anybody's interested in getting an indoor recreation facility on the island for fields and courts and gym
Mhm.
and track
Mhm.
and all those, which would help everyone. It really is cradle to grave. Would you all be willing to contact select board and land bank members and just say you support that? That's all you'd
So
say.
will-
Oh, I see, she's using this. No, this is the part of the reason I
I'm not,
invited
but
you.
when I was here,
No,
I
it's
just
for the
thought it would
reason-
put it on your radar screen and it just reminds them.
Is there?
They
so
voted unanimously to support it, so the select board's on board, but we just want to keep, keep
Yes.
them moving on it. We put it in the open spaces plan that's being rewritten, it's being added in. I put it at the land bank the other day, so.
So one of the reasons I invited Jill was because this
Okay.
was going on.
Yeah.
And I just thought that
And
this
all
is,
those
this is the
activities
kind,
are good for
this is the
mental health.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
that
I
we're
just
sort of
thought your
asking.
committee in particular,
Not just
that's
the
what we
outdoor
talked
stuff, but
about.
the indoor stuff for.
In the
year
winter.
round and winter.
Well, it's sort
Yeah.
of like our own YMCA.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe they would be a good group to come in and run it. I don't know. That's above my pay grade, but it would be great if you all as a group just said, oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
I think these letters matter personally. I'm a grassroots person, so that's how I
Mhm.
think.
Mhm.
And letters matter. A lot of people think they don't, but they do. They get read.
No, this has been, so Jill, the reason when I said, hey, I'm gonna have you come was because we talked about the fact that when this school originally got its original funding, it got the funding because it was supposed to be a community center, open to everybody, and that's how it got most of its major funding.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that was years ago when it happened.
Oh.
And of course, due to the times and stuff, the access to the building isn't available like it was.
Right.
And so this idea is really hits upon what we've talked about is having something where people can go. That is available and, the Boys and Girls Club does a great job and they are open.
Oh, they're
you know,
booked till
um,
11 p.m. every night, I think, with basketball players. I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah, but they do adults on the weekends and they
Yeah.
have the seniors in the morning. So I think they're really trying to
Mhm.
fit into a niche.
Oh,
And doing,
definitely.
and doing a great job.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to watch them work.
Yeah.
Because they actually like love each other, the staff, which makes it such a great
Really
place to
nice.
like walk in and see what they're doing.
Mhm.
I think that they're trying, but their building actually takes care of that age group.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
so many other age groups that we're not able to get. So I think your idea is great. And I think it's needed. I think
Well, I
we're
think
at
the
the point.
school has 75% sports participation, which is really high.
Mhm.
So it'd be great for those students to feel like they could access more of that.
But it's
Any
also
kind of a-
lifetime recreation that,
It
we
is.
gotta
Right.
think that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Well,
That
you're instilling.
you learn something that you can use all the way through.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
And also to me, what's going on the island, and it's just a broader point. We've got to bring people together. We don't need to text each other so much. We need to see each other physically. I know that's easy to move to an island and try to hide and I've done that, I've been that person. I've gone through phases of that, but we need to be together and not just each other stop and shop and maybe just play a game. I mean, it doesn't,
Yeah.
and have that
sort of like a
interaction with
salt,
human
a salt
beings.
marsh for the
Everybody.
young, for everybody.
I wish
you
they
know.
would communicate, I wish they would join this effort too, but I think they.
I mean,
won't
the
have
ice
a
rink
facility.
now has the.
floor.
Right,
Yes,
before, that's
that's
what I was
huge.
thinking
I think
about
it's
that.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was part of the original idea.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Like,
I
don't
think it'd be
know how
awesome
long
if they
they're
collaborated.
for.
Wouldn't it be great if they collaborated and
I think they're gonna do great with it. I think
Oh, I
it
do.
has a lot of potential.
it's awesome.
Yeah, it has a
Yeah.
lot of potential. Everybody does. Everybody's working. What we want to do is get everybody working together.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think what's so
Right.
hard is
That's what we're doing.
everyone's so busy and we're going into the season.
Yeah.
But I think we just have to keep pushing it. And I agree,
Yeah.
like the pandemic's over. If we need to spend more time together and do events
Face to
with adults
face.
and kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Multi-generational is really
It'd be
good, I
great
think.
if we could do something with the ice rink, you know, to like get kids and adults and they all could come together.
I think that'd be wonderful.
So like a game night.
It could be fun to kick that off
Yeah.
in September.
Yeah.
As a way
But
to.
somebody's gotta come up
Yeah.
with this,
Yeah.
and we could support that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, that's a great
Yeah,
idea.
but I'm just saying, like, again, this group could come up with an idea and then launch it in September and say, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, we're all working together and do some fun events. for
So to
adults and
just
kids.
show that this is what everybody's doing,
Right.
with no,
Put
no
some money
bid for,
towards
but that
that.
we're just getting
Yeah,
people to
it-
volunteer. to do
Maybe
it.
the
Good idea.
students can get community service hours and you have the event at the ice rink for younger kids and they're helping with them, you know, maybe it's something like that. It just, everybody's gonna have to really, I think, come up, get imaginative with something community building. I just
Yeah.
feel really strongly about that right now. It's so divisive here about a lot of things and I'm surprised and
Yeah.
something's wrong. I just think something
Well, I
is
think
wrong
it's,
on
I
a
think
lot of
what we're
levels.
seeing is what's happened in the country. It's just.
Yeah.
Social media
here.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, social media with our kids is one of the biggest things, like you learned generations ago, you know, and to see it, and I can see it with my two boys in their 20s, is that it really changed from what the older kids were, that they have the ability of social media, so they think they have tons of friends when they're playing a video game with somebody, and I'm
Well,
like,
that's
no,
it.
do you know them?
This is not a
Do you sit
friend.
down and have a meal with them? Do you,
Right.
do you know what makes them tick?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, do they know what makes you tick? And so I think that our kids have grown up in in a time of social media. Maybe some of that initiative is to, you know, for everybody, drop a social media for like initiative in the community, like
Right.
everybody
Well, I'm
stop
meeting
for an
with-
hour,
this is
you know?
Interesting to bring this up.
Yes.
I'm meeting with this woman at 11 on Zoom with one of her board members, and she actually lives on Nantucket. And she has this program that she's been working on around social media and educating parents around the effects and how it affects, yeah. I can send the link. I'll learn more today, but
Yeah.
it might be interesting to have her involved.
Yeah, I mean, because I think anything we can
Because-
do like this is,
I mean, this is the thing now, since we've been talking about this, so many people have come together to start to collaborate on how do we address this issue?
Mhm.
And it has moved from being about substance abuse to being about connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
And that's
Right.
what.
Because
is
that-
so-
Because that's what it is. That's
Yeah.
the
but
prevention.
That is what
That
is
exactly-
so cool about this.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could just, I'm thinking even just for that 18 to 25, it's like, well. When they just hang out, like they would hang out in a bar, but what if we could make a coffee bar more attractive
At my
somehow?
rec,
Yeah.
Right.
at my rec center that I.
There you go, at your
Well,
rec
yeah,
center,
even
like-
even if they
And
knew
how
that
to
they
do
could
rec
go do
center,
stuff at the
rock
rec center,
climbing,
right?
yeah.
That gave, yes, rock
Right.
climbing.
Climbing,
big.
And a cool rec center, you know, not
Yeah.
like, you know, somewhere that it's wanna go.
Yeah,
So,
I'm always the Debbie Downer on this part, just as a clinician, but you know, we always have to remember the mandate reporting piece.
Mm.
Yeah. But I mean, you can still have a rec center.
right,
It's just,
it'd be nice for people to come together different ages so that you, I know when I talk to my daughters, they're teenagers. When I talk to their friends, like, it's nice to talk to them and say, you know, I actually have the same struggle that you do. And I definitely had the same struggle they did when they were their age, but to say, hey, I struggle with looking at my phone all the time and want the dopamine hit and all that, like, we also struggle with that, which is kind of why, you know, we need to like be face
Try
to
to
face.
model different, you know, learn for ourselves and
Well,
model different behavior.
I just don't know that they're necessarily gonna outgrow it. Right? They're gonna be a different person as they get older for sure, but I don't know that they're gonna outgrow the addiction to their phone or, you know, yeah. So that's kind of. a
But
different
maybe
thing,
if they
'cause you
see
have
the
that
other
forever.
options that are available, we can get them to.
Yeah.
To look at things differently.
Right, and then hopefully we can ourselves do better, like not looking at our phone, like that's to me,
yeah, I mean, we have to model.
lead by
behavior for them.
example,
Yes.
and
I
it's
know some
hard.
Families that like, you know, you're having dinner, there's like no phone.
Right, yeah, no,
And I
yeah.
went out with like friends my age and it's like, we all put the phone, you know, in the center and it's like, whoever goes and grabs their phone during dinner has to pay for dinner for everybody.
Ah,
And
that's
let
a
me
cute
tell
idea.
you, it really works.
I like that.
I just moved it in the center.
Maybe we have phone-free events.
Yeah, and if there was a rec center where kids could go, like they can text and say, I'm going there, but then they don't have to be on their phone. And you could even say, you know, we're having a phone-free zone, just gonna hang out with each other.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like, just come and have fun, not because you can take pictures of how much fun you're having, just have
Right.
the fun.
Well, I just want, I would just
Gotta
like to
prove
see
to
them be
everyone,
on
look how-
teams and come
how
out
much fun I
and,
have.
you know, pickleball's so good because you can, it's multi-generational.
Mhm.
There aren't a lot of other sports like that. Now, I know the kids love that badminton tournament they they play that Alicia puts on through Community Foundation. They love that. It's like a whole day of badminton.
Yeah, but
and
yeah.
They gear up for that and they probably need a few more days like that.
They absolutely, that has been a favorite for 20 years.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
It's
it's
a
so.
simple thing that doesn't cost a lot of money.
Coach
Right.
Webb did it.
Right.
Coach Webb used to do it like with his kids and it was just a lot of fun. Kids had a blast doing it.
Yeah.
Even like
Yeah.
getting kids to pick up the trash, there's a whole group of
Yes.
adults that do it. It's like,
Right.
how can
Oh,
we do it?
Kids come too.
I think kids do that, right?
Okay.
For their community service.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
just did it.
Although
Just
it's
seems
pretty
like we could
funny.
be creating more community service hours.
But
for them
even
for
the
this.
idea is, guys, this is where we're wrong. So community, we should be doing it, not being told to do it. We should be doing it
Yeah.
because we see it on the side of the street. And that's what it's about, building up this community to understand we all own it and it's
Oh,
ours.
God, Are you
And-
kidding? If I don't recycle properly, they're all over me.
I'm not saying that, but
Your
do you
kids.
But you know what, like when you go and you teach your kids, when you walk on the beach or something, there's trash, like we go to Steps Beach and we bring a trash bag because we're always like, oh, we're gonna have a bunch of stuff to pick up.
Yeah.
Or when you're walking is to teach them, like I stop the car if there's something on the street and put it in the back of my car, is teaching like ownership within the
Yeah.
community, that the only way isn't just because it's
You're
a
told to
community
do it.
service or you're
Yeah.
being told to do it. It's about, this is what community is about. Community is about
Yeah.
being involved and loving your
It's about-
community enough
Mhm.
that's what our hope is.
Buying
like,
into your community.
Yeah,
Making that
community
connection.
We need a
you know,
good
the
slogan
connection
around
thing.
community.
Yeah, we do. The whole, the town should take that on and do the select board should do something like that for everybody.
well,
to
we
take
are the
on.
town,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we like to take
Yeah.
on for everyone to use.
right? We
for
are
that.
the town,
Yes.
so that, I
Outside
think that's
groups.
important.
Yes,
Well, there is our slogan, connection to community.
yes.
There you go. Good job.
Yes.
Good job.
Well done. I like it.
This is what it's all about. Talking like this gets it.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome what you
Yeah.
guys are doing.
Well, you're doing it too.
Yes.
No, but it's just,
Thank you.
yeah.
Well,
We're all doing it without
spearheading is the
everybody.
hardest
This
part,
wouldn't be-
so I'm glad you guys are doing it. It's great.
And I'm glad you joined today.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks,
Yeah,
Jen.
thanks. No, thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me. I just really wanted to get people, talk about that rec center. That's how this is gonna happen. You have to just tell them it's,
Yeah, but we also have to
talk about your
to-
programs that you need to
Yeah.
get out there like that.
But we
just
need a
gotta keep-
forum where we can talk to the summer people that come here and have a lot of money. And, can help donate,
Mhm.
like a better rec center.
Well, what you have to do is. I'm gonna tell you, you have to, instead of. I wouldn't do it that way.
Okay, how would you do? it?
Yeah.
I would do it with the investment that sometimes it's better to go after these people in a much different way, which is sort of get them to see
That you're
Invite
doing
them.
it.
what they're
Yeah.
doing makes the difference. What their involvement is
Yeah.
makes a difference.
Yeah.
Because you can hit some of the people, this is their passion in life.
Yeah.
And they're willing to, when it means that it's kids or it's this, to get involved. But I think sometimes we invite the wrong people or go after and say they're gonna do this instead of going after what this passion and
Yeah.
showing them what's out
Yeah.
there.
And that's why if we do something in September, it's still like a lot of people are still here. And
Mhm.
you're kind of still getting the summer people at the end
Mhm.
and just fighting the community and.
Do you know who we didn't think of inviting? Tommy B.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm seeing, yeah,
No, but we should invite Tommy B.
yeah. No, he knows so much.
Well, it's his connections.
Yeah, totally.
Who's Tommy
No, he
B?
does.
Excuse
Tommy B
Brissett.
runs the Nantucket Golf Club and he started that by being a bartender at the Pearl. And
Yeah.
everybody loved him, Boarding House Pearl.
Really?
And everybody would come in and have drinks with him. So when this time came, all these golfers that love Tommy B were like, this is gonna be the guy to run this place. And
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
what Tommy
And what
B's done.
about, I'm spacing, the owner of Chicken Box.
Rocky.
Rocky's one of the owners.
Yeah, but I'm just
Packing,
saying,
right.
Rocky just does a lot of wonderful things for the community and
Yes.
for the seniors.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the seniors, big
And the
time.
kids, so I'm just thinking,
yeah, they do a
if he's a
lot.
community base.
Right, right.
I agree.
But I think there are people out there that really make a big difference and
Yeah.
we tend to forget about them. We don't, when we look at the big thing, we
Mhm.
forget that these are the people we should be calling in on.
Yeah,
too.
look at what the scholarships they're doing, are like amazing.
Yeah, but those are the people that are members of the golf club.
No, it's
So-
amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
great.
I think
I have
we,
to go.
I do too.
Okay.
All right, so,
Wait, no, well, first,
wait,
she wants a recap.
yeah, where are we at this point? Because we still have
Okay, none of it.
the survey to finish.
So I think that I'm gonna take all this feedback and make the packet.
Okay,
and I'll send it to you and you'll send it to everybody.
okay.
And then, we have to work on
Send
the
back
questions.
feedback and then
Yeah.
back to you.
So what is our meeting for next week? What's the
It's
date?
on Thursday,
Thursday at 4, right?
and that was to prepare for Saturday.
Okay,
And are you
Yeah,
gonna
we're
have the
10,
questions
sorry.
to hand out Saturday?
Give my number out, so if you guys want to play pickleball, you call me.
Thank you.
You should.
I
All right.
I honestly would like to.
I want you to.
We should all go out play together.
Yeah.
Yes,
You should.
We'll have to
Wouldn't that
post
be
it.
fun?
Let's do that.
I'll learn with you.
Yeah, I would love that.
We'll have to post that.
Yeah.
No, we wouldn't,
It's been
no, we
my
wouldn't,
goal,
'cause she's
and
not a
so
board
damn
member.
busy.
Yeah.
Amanda's not a board member. We wouldn't have to.
True, but if
post
the
it.
rest of us went.
I'll put you in the reports. You'll be fine.
Okay. We
Thank
just
you.
happen to
Thank
show up
you.
and we're playing, that's all.
So the meeting's on Thursday at 4, right?
Thursday at
shortly,
4.
I'll finish with my meeting.
And did you, I wonder if Jericho
No, do it at the
texted
green.
Jason about the question?
Because I'm right there.
Jason,
Okay, hi, Ryan,
Bridget.
if you want something.
The
Like the
question,
questions from the behavioral, like, I don't know if that's helpful for you guys. If I can try to, from the.
Well, just send the original survey.
can you, do that for us?
Yeah, I'll ask him. I think I might have him, but I'll ask him. He probably has some.
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. Okay, is there any more questions in regards to this?
Mm-mm.
Do you have any questions? In regards to this before we call to close down the meeting?
No.
John Balash, do you have any questions, sir, before we call to close down the meeting?
Wait a minute. No, I don't. Unfortunately, I'm learning more than I'm being able to give because all my children are neither on the island or much too old. So I don't have the same kinds of connections that I'm listening to all of you talk about.
but
Oh,
you
I
have,
think
you
you
have,
have-
you have years of wisdom
Oh,
to
yeah.
share.
Sometimes. Anybody, I don't know. I think I think you're, I think this last comment about talking to Tommy Brissett and Rocky Fox, people like those whom I can recognize as from my kind of distance, clearly actively involved with people who are maybe among those people that we are really trying to find a way to reach. And they might reach them in a way that some of these our organizations don't, they're just not set up to do that. So I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yep.
I'm done with pontificating.
Okay,
John.
Thank you, John. Okay. I can't.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Veronica,
Aye.
Joanna,
aye.
Sue,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Dorothy, I.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Karen,
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you all.
Appreciate all the effort.
Enjoy your weekend.
All right.
Yeah,
Happy Daffy.
yeah.
Who's going out for Daffy?
I'm on a boat.
Oh,
Yeah. I
In
think
an
I'm
hour.
having
You're
fun.
leaving?
No, I'm here, but I just,
Do you know how to
I'm also
shut
on
this
call,
down?
so I'm not-
Anybody?
End meeting.
Yeah, but how do I get to it?
could I ask, do you have crises every day?
What
what
there's
is the-
always something going on. It depends on the day. It seems to come in like threes.
Okay,
guys,
so when you
can
have
we
one-
know
Oh, yeah, it's on.
Oh, yeah.
No talking.
All right. Wait, hold on. You're fighting me.
down the way,
That's all people.
And I have, that was my kid. He forgot his ADA medication. He wants a smoothie from.
Like mom, can you do it? Maybe.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Very good, mama.
I try very often. And I don't make it all the days.
That's part of life, you know?
Yeah, peanuts, they know, they're pretty good.
done? Yeah.
No, oh, right there.